Dr. London is calling.
Hello, welcome back to Student Dr. London calling. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, just so you can keep up on all the videos that are being released. Videos drop every other week. So without further ado, let's get into what today's topic is going to be about. Today's topic is going to be on Level 1, COMLEX 1, and Step 1. So as DO students, we are in that position where we are stuck in between. Should I take both exams? Is it necessary? How do I even study for the exams? Because let's be honest, whether you're in MD school or DO school, boards are intimidating, it's scary, you don't know how to prepare, and this is the test that determines if what residencies you're going to get into. Am I competitive enough? So I called up student Dr. Zizah, who will talk about how she prepared for both exams. And when I tell you she's inspiring, she inspires me all the time. So I really hope you all enjoy, and see you soon.
Hey London, my name is Zizah and I am a third-year osteopathic med student over at PCOM, South Georgia, and today I am going to be talking to you about pretty much maneuvering through med school and board exams as a first-time mom. Boards are usually the most intimidating portion of med school. I feel like the first 2 years, even though we're trying to get acclimated to didactics and trying to get in the whole niche of studying and getting to understand this whole big transition, everybody's main concern is, I need to do well on boards. I need to make sure that I pass or I'm in a good enough standing. That way residency programs want me, so on and so forth. Truth be told, I probably didn't start actively studying for boards until the year of. So second year, I tried not to worry about it too much during first year, because first year I was trying to get acclimated to the new environment, trying to build a strong enough foundation that way when second year came around, I was able to better manage my GPA along with boards on the side. So I really and truly started buckling down around March or April year that I was supposed to take it. And what I did to mentally get myself prepared in that meantime was, as I was learning the systems for like cardio, pulm, all of the fun stuff, I used to incorporate some board questions with my studying. So I'd use UWorld for the most part, and I would pretty much just, if I'm on a cardio block, I would randomize a 25 question block or even a 15 question block first thing in the morning, and I would go through those questions and see what I get right versus what I get wrong, regardless of if we've already covered it in class or not. And I kind of use that to get myself prepped for how to approach questions, whether it was board style questions or quiz questions or exam questions. And I feel like that did really help, because by the time I got to the month of April and it was cracking down on board exams in the month of May and June, I already had an idea how I needed to be looking at questions, how I needed to be approaching questions, and the question banks didn't seem as overwhelming. As long as you kind of get yourself trained to do questions, no matter what, you'll start finding out that there is this pattern in how they ask questions, how certain cases present themselves, certain pathognomonic findings that are specific to certain diseases or certain presentations, and that'll definitely help you kind of like hone in on what you should be thinking about, rather than grasping at straws trying to figure out what it is, because your brain is processing all the 50 million things that you've learned the first 2 years of med school. Don't over exhaust your resources. Don't find like 50 million different things that you're pulling from at one time, because I feel like there is such thing as resource overload. You can literally say, okay, sketchy is good for this, boards and beyonds I like for this, pathoma, first aid, board review series, or just plain old PowerPoints. I feel like the more resources you start bouncing and ping-ponging back and forth between, the harder it is to keep track of everything. Every single resource explains things completely differently. So I feel like maximum, if you find 3 good resources that are perfect for you, that make you the most comfortable, stick to those 3. Those 3 will definitely help you. My 3, for the purposes of step 1 and COMLEX 1, since I did take both, was sketchy, pathoma, and the first aid book. Those were my 3 go-tos, and I only stuck to those 3. I did take a lot of notes. I work better by writing my notes out and writing them over and over and over again, and repeating them and learning to understand as opposed to learning to memorize. And that definitely did help me. Also did group study, but I only did group study when I was comfortable enough with the material, because one of the big issues that we all face in med school is this whole self-doubt, imposter syndrome, so on and so forth, where you can be studying something and you know that the answer that you're thinking is the right answer, but because you're studying amongst a group who you may feel, oh, this person studied way more than me, they probably know more than me. Once you guys start discussing or bouncing off ideas off the top of your heads, you can know in your mind that something is correct, but then if somebody says a completely different answer, then you go and start rethinking, like, oh, well, maybe this person is right, and I think, now that I think about it, I think I might be wrong. No. Study until you get everything like down pat. Then that way, when you get in a group, even though there's all these opposing answers that everybody's exchanging, or all these opposing explanations, you can kind of stand firm in why you chose that answer to begin with, and be confident in the fact that you chose the right answer. Group study definitely did help though, because there are going to be classmates or peers that understand things in a much more, I guess, like smooth sailing light. I don't know how to explain it, but like they understand it in a way where if you don't understand it, that peer explanation to you can definitely give you that aha, I got it moment. So I definitely recommend that. Took level 1 and step 1 because of the simple fact that even though it's not as out there, there still is a lack of understanding what a doctor of osteopathic physician is. So I do feel like when it comes to the more competitive fields, such as like your neurosurgeries, your pathologies, your orthopedic surgery and stuff like that, you do have programs that are more likely to look at you if you take your step 1 as well, because it's like they try to make this even playing field where they're comparing your step 1 scores amongst MD step 1 scores. So I figured, since I'm applying emergency medicine as a Black mom, I figured I wanted to make myself as competitive as possible, because I didn't want to be in a position where I am not able to get into a residency program close to home, close to where my village has been, where my support system is, everybody that has allowed me to flourish during med school. So I did take it for that simple reason. I wanted to have more options stay as close to my family as possible so that I can have all the care that I need in order for me to be present as a future physician and be 100% present as a first-time mom. I don't think it's necessary that you take both level 1 and step 1. I have talked to a lot of my peers who are M4s that have had numerous successes with interview cycles that only took level 1 and level 2. I guess it's all your preference. It is a lot to manage because of the fact that it is 2 9-hour grueling exams, but it's doable. The way that I studied for both was I studied as if I was studying for STEP. So I used UWorld and I did questions, and then I spaced out my 2 exams a week apart. So by spacing it out a week apart, what it allowed me to do was use that week before my level 1 to pretty much like brush up on everything OMM, because yes, I studied that whole time using UWorld, but everything that's on UWorld is going to be transferred over to everything that you see on COMLEX. So the only thing that UWorld didn't offer was the osteopathic approach to medicine, osteopathic techniques, a great emphasis on musculoskeletal, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I feel like that's pretty much how the boards were for me. I felt okay when I did it, and I did pass on the first time for both exams. The exams were comparable, so I feel like UWorld was reflective of step 1 the same way that I feel like the NBME exams that's offered through the site was also reflective. Same with COMLEX. They did have lots of OMM questions, and their question structures were similar to certain question banks like ComQuest and TrueLearn, but I feel like they were fair in how they ask certain things. Don't think of it like that big scary monster that's under your bed just waiting to like jump on you. I feel like we psych ourselves out way more than we really need to. It's not as bad. I feel like once you go in there saying like, I got this, like I know I'm about to knock this out the park, like you instill that mindset in you, then you will be fine. The more and more you say, oh my God, I'm gonna fail this, oh my gosh, this is not gonna be good, it's like you've already conditioned yourself to feel like this is gonna be the crappiest experience of life, which it's not that bad. Like, we're our biggest critic, so you just gotta kind of like put that mindset that you are this person, like you got this, and I feel like everything else would flow fine afterwards. And I think the reason why I've tried so hard to instill that mindset in myself is because I do have a 3-year-old looking up to me as this person who is supposed to exemplify who she would like to grow up to be. So I feel like a lot of people look at having kids during med school is hard, and I anticipated it to be hard. I thought that I was going to be flunking out of classes and I wasn't going to be able to keep up, but to be honest, I think the only hard part was me on myself, trying to figure out how to juggle med school with being a present mom and being there to watch her milestones, to watch her grow, and understanding that even though I can't be there to see 100% of the things that are happening and all the milestones that she's reaching, that everything I'm doing now is supposed to set her up in the future. So the sacrifices that I make, I don't beat myself up about it as much anymore, because I know ultimately it is for her. And as long as you find that balance between school life, family life, self-care life, all of that stuff, I feel like you're gonna be unstoppable. I feel like it's only as hard as you make it. It's only as hard as you allow yourself to put it in your mind that society says that it's supposed to be hard. But I'm pretty much here to say that I think y'all got this, or I know y'all got this. So just believe that y'all got this, and I think everything else will be smooth sailing. I wish I could be a little bit more structured with how to talk about stuff, but I don't like talking that much. But I know that if the message reaches somebody, especially on this journey of a field that you don't really see much people that look like us in it, that it's worth it. So this is Dr. Blair signing off.